Hey y'all, it's Timothy. Oh shit, my camera's sweaty. Damn. Hey y'all, it's Timothy. I'm sweaty as fuck. 93 fucking degrees. I'm gonna make this quick because I want to finish slurping this high chew. I'm just gonna say I hate men who search for like refuge in the arms of women that they plan to destroy. That shit makes me sick. Like, you know the type of dudes who are like, oh man, I really want a girlfriend. A girlfriend would solve all my problems, all that shit. Just to like turn around and like the second a girl's like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? I noticed you said you wanted a girlfriend. Then they'll be like, oh no, I just really wanted someone to just like actively have sex with me. I'm not looking for love, but you know, if you want to suck my dick, that's okay. And then what they really mean is they just want someone to have sex with and like listen to them bitch and moan. And I'm not gonna say that's too far from a relationship, but the key point is you should be able to reciprocate. And I say this because, you know, I was talking to my homie. I've mentioned him before. I think I've mentioned him in my video about like how the patriarchy fucks up men just as well as women. But also men really perpetrate like patriarchy and shit, and I'll tell you how. Like they'll be like, "Oh damn, no one ever takes my feelings seriously. No one understands me. I'm judged for being too short or having emotions or not being masculine enough. XYZ." And then the second a woman comes along and is like, hey, I feel you, I know how that feels. Then they proceed to like treat that woman like total shit. And the Jin just be like, okay, cool. You're going through issues? Yeah, that sucks. Bye. And then that's kind of it. But then the second like they have issues, then suddenly they want to back up fucking mommy. All these dudes really have mommy issues at the beginning. Like the end of the day, I'm noticing that as a trend. But I think it's pathetic. I think that's why, at some point, I think most women have to learn the hard way that some people you just gotta give up on. I've got multiple stories for this. I won't go too long because I really want to eat this fucking haichu. But in a nutshell, what's a few examples? I knew this guy named Marco. We and him used to be friends and also fuck buddies. And he would always like lie over the dumbest shit. Like, how do I put this? He was one of those sad boys who exactly was like, oh man, people treat me like shit because I'm under like 5'4". No one respects me. My family is so awful to me and cruel. And I hate the, like, he was just emo as fuck. And he was one of those annoying emo types too, where he'd be like, I bet you don't even know what kind of music this is. And then proceed to play Joji. Like, come on now. He's one of those, like, I don't know, he's just a dipshit. So meanwhile, like, this whole time as he is managing to complain to me or whatever in my fucking arms, deep in my pussy about it, about all these issues he's going through, he doesn't inherently give a fuck about me at all. Like, once the reverse happens, he is nowhere to be found for any sort of solace or comfort. And I know you can think, oh, he just doesn't know how to reciprocate it. I think that's just a fucking excuse. I think that's an excuse like how when men say, ooh, or also women, oh, wearing that causes rape numbers to go up. I think it's just, or like, ooh, women mature faster than men emotionally and mentally. I think that's just an excuse to continue, like, the cycle of enabling that shit. And I'll say it, like, you know, hell, that's how they enabled my fucking biological father to be such a bitch ass nigga. Like, you know, hell, I just hate people who make excuses for men when it's like, no, TV exists, books exist, like, if you really wanted to put in the work, and sometimes it's not even that hard. Like, you know, even them saying, oh, that sucks is not too bad, but being like, oh, how are you feeling about that? Or even just, like, asking a follow-up question can get one so far. So, but I just find it shitty because it's like, oh, but if standards were reversed, like if I were the one to just be like, oh, yeah, that sucks, and nothing else to these dudes' issues, then suddenly I'd be one of the cold, heartless bitches that they couldn't stand or whatever. And I hate that. I have so many stories, and I also want to eat this fucking haichu. It's melting on my fingers. It's hot as fuck today. I feel like a fucking infant. Like, you know how babies just hold candy or like Cheetos in their hand and just never let go of that shit or eat it? That's kind of what I'm doing. I just felt the need to get this off my chest. Because I get so tired of like dudes who are just like sick of like, ooh, getting mistreated by their families or just being bitchless or something. Deciding, oh, who should I take my anger out on? Should I take it on my family? Should I be mad at society? No. And if I will, I'll just find a way to somehow make it into like this woman's problem. This woman who already has enough on her plate, hey, she could take a little more off of mine. And I'm gonna use her for sex. And have her bear the brunt of all my burdens, like, on her back. And that's what she gets for, I don't know, wearing her heart on her sleeve. If that's, is heart on the sleeve even a correct term? I don't know. I hear it a lot. Plus, some of these dudes have the weirdest, like, fuckboy mentalities. And I've been sick of that since I've met, like, like they'd post on their Instagram story, like, one slide could be one of those, ooh, City Boys Up 1000 posts where it's like a girl asking, hey, what are we? And then him just responding with, like, playing 8-ball and saying, ooh, City Boys Up 1000, hey, fuckboys unite. And it's like, cool, you're treating women who actually want to get close to you like shit. And then the very next slide, they'll post, like, a picture of them with a fine-ass girl. Or, like, one of those Pinterest, like, inspo posts where it's, like, a guy with, like, a girl under his arm. And then they'll be like, oh, shit, me and who? I want this so bad. And then they'll go on rants talking about how badly, I finally ate it, how badly they want fucking love. Or romance and affection. And I remember I actually kind of messaged one of these dudes and I was like, hey, so what do you want when you say you want a girlfriend? And mind you, this is also a dude who previously said he wanted a girlfriend so bad and was so lonely and wanted friends and shit, and then immediately just offered to, like, fuck or whatever. He was one of those dudes. He went on that exact same rant like a week or two later, and I just had to ask him, hey dude, so what do you mean when you say you want a girlfriend? And he basically just said, oh, I just want someone who's really down for me, who will be there for me no matter what, who will just, and then just listed all these traits of, like, basically as close as possible to indentured servitude, just with sex. And I had to ask him, okay, but do you think you're in a space to receive that same energy back? What do you plan to do for your girlfriend when you have her? And he just entirely ignored me, because he didn't have a fucking answer, and then just continued listing, like, to get out of it. He just started being like, ooh, I'm so sad. I really need a badass shawty to hold me down. I really want someone to just love me for who I am. There probably are people who would do that for you. You just treat them like shit. And I hate that. I hate this thing. I was talking to one of my male homies the other night. And while he vented about his issues, he just entirely ignored all of mine to just circle back and keep talking about his. Quite irritating. That haiku tastes kind of weird, probably because I've been spinning it in my fingers for the past 7 minutes, but moral of the story, please stop fucking using women, like, as, like, I don't know, fucking, I guess what I can best put it as, like, camels. Like, things that you think, ooh, yeah. Aside from liking her for her wet mouth, I absolutely adore the fact that she can hold all the weight that I carry onto her back, like, effortlessly. And she will just always do that for me and carry my load for me. That just seems selfish. I've dated these types, I've defended these types, I've met these types. I just gotta say, y'all just make me sick. That's kind of why I got in the habit of calling a lot of these motherfuckers pathetic to their face. Because they are. They're just like, okay, so instead of improving your life, you're gonna keep doing nothing. Instead of respecting those around you, you're gonna just, like, treat the women around you like shit. I've mentioned this in other videos. Like, the same dudes whining to me about their issues would just have, like, zero room for mine. Or at most, like, 10% space, and they'd be judgmental, slut-shaming, or just straight up not, like, hardly barely give a shit. And I get tired of that. Like, why do I have to be the one with, like, expected, nurturing, motherly energy whole time they can't do that shit back? That's why I'm very glad I met my boyfriend. He's a wonderful guy, and he doesn't play that shit. If I say I'm going through shit, like, he knows, oh, baby, it's okay, how are you feeling now? And then he asks me questions to understand how I'm feeling deeper. It offers me solutions when I can. It's very fucking lovely. And I think a lot of these I think the dudes who are bitchless and whining that they can't get, like, women to like them, or, like, friends and shit, sometimes I just think, yeah, you probably are a piece of shit. You're like, I'm not saying that is the case for every single person who's not in a relationship. I'm just saying I no longer have sympathy for the type of dudes who are like, oh, I want a woman to give me the world, but if, like, given the chance, I will absolutely dog her out, or just take as much as I can, then dip on her. You people are fucked. Alright, I think that's enough for my rant. The moral of the story, be more like my amazing, lovely boyfriend. And if you're like, oh, damn, how do I, like, tell this woman that I, like, give a shit? Like, I don't want to be just the one taking all her time and energy. Meanwhile, she's drained, pouring from an empty ass fucking cup. My go to is offer like some sort of like sympathy. Like, oh my god, that's so sad. Ask them how they're feeling. Ask them how they're coping with situations and if they have like a game plan. Like, simply put, just start asking shit. It's not hard, and I think it's quite sad that whenever I meet people, they're like, oh, Tamia, you always know how to ask the right questions. But sometimes these people will spill like tons of trauma to me, and the questions I ask are just like things I think everyone should fucking ask. Like, if you're like, oh yeah, my brother died when I was young and it really fucked me up, of course I'm gonna be like, oh my god, that's so fucked up. Are you okay? That must have been really hard for you, especially like as a young child. Like, just bare minimum level of care that someone should have. I feel like that's absolutely bare minimum, and the next thing you know, dudes will be like, holy shit, you're the first person to ever show me that type of care. I think that's depressing. I think that should not happen to men at all. And I think maybe if they were expressed like more intentional care, like throughout their life, through their own traumas, maybe the world would be a lot better than it is now. But I swear to God, those same motherfuckers better hold that same room for everyone else. They better go, that felt nice what she did. And what did she do? She felt bad for me, but also let me know that my feelings were like valid, and then ask me how I was doing in coping, and like ask me about my life experiences that like happened before, during, or after that point. Wow, I should probably remember to do that anytime I meet someone stressed out again. And I wish more people did that. I wish less people saw women as like BangMaids who they could spill all their trauma to. Like, it's not the fucking 1800s. I'm not your concubine. I'm not your like fucking prearranged marriage who's just expected to take on that type of shit for you. No, I am an average fucking Gen Z motherfucker who just wants to talk and have their emotions reciprocated and just be with emotionally intelligent people. So yeah, moral of the story, treat people how you want to be treated. I hate that people forgot the golden rule, but I guess deep down they don't see women as people, so, or they don't really give a fuck about each other because we live in a very individualistic society. Anyway, do I want to upload this video? Maybe. Sure. Fuck it. Why not?